Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Morning Motivational Rant. I am your host, Dino the Genetic Marvel, and with me, as always, is my co-host, who's always spectacular, Crystal Morency.
I see you. Good morning.
Good morning, Crystal. How are you today?
It's recording. It's okay.
That's what matters most.
Everybody don't say anything out loud, okay? Because maybe he didn't notice. Hi, Dino.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm fine. How are you doing today? Good morning.
I'm good. It's been a very interesting couple days. So, a lot of things have happened. We've had we had a unique commenter, not a unique commenter, a comment that was out of character, which we received an apology for, and I said, your apology is accepted. Do not make me regret it. It's fair.
Don't fall for this apology, Dino. I've fallen for this apology for years now, and every time I do, I regret it. I have to change my phone number again. I have to, but then I always, as soon as he finds it and he messages me, I'm like, aw, at least he's crazy about me. He might be crazy, but at least he's crazy about me.
Tough out there for a lady, isn't it, Crystal? It's okay. So, guys, just an FYI. So, we didn't record yesterday. Life was a little bit out of control, and you know what? I'll be honest with you. It's better that we didn't because some tomfoolery and shenanigans transpired. But I do have a couple notes for things I wanted to cover.
Okay, let's cover it.
It's been so. There's a saying that if people hate you for what you're doing, you're probably doing something right. So we officially have somebody who's sick and tired of us posting every day.
Didn't we have somebody in the Ottawa or something like that made a similar complaint? Better
yet, though, this is a person that I actually know. And they've decided to direct some hate towards us. And there was a bit of tomfoolery and shenanigans. This person is.
I'm always out of the loop. I don't go online and talk to people.
Don't even bother. So it's a comedy group for Toronto that it was in that I post every day, and of course today they made a comment on the actual post with a GIF of Robert Downey Jr. going, "Oh," just rolling his eyes. And I just hid the comment because I'm like, I have no time for that. It's just not. I'm not going to engage it.
It's our 70th episode.
It's our 70th episode.
So people are
exactly
hating
on
us.
Because
we talked for 70. I don't know why they're hating on us. Do they really want to be a part of this conversation?
Well, that was the interesting part.
I don't think they do.
A few people were like, "Do you hate people who load content, or do you have a problem directly with Dino?" And they were like, "Well, does it have to happen every day?" And they're like, have you seen Dino? Because either you need to start walking around armed, or you better hope Dino's a pacifist, because you're dead. And I was like, hey.
Tell me who it is. Do I know who it is?
I'm not sure. No. Victoria actually was like, I want to kick his ass. And I'm like, no, honey, don't. I'll take care of it. Don't worry. But you know what?
I'll make him look like a little bitch. Get him beat up by a 120-pound woman.
If you're there, I'll let you get a kick in. I'm just don't. It's cool.
Okay.
You know what? I just so for in the future, guys, if anything happens and we stop uploading, that might be the reason. I might be in jail. That's what might actually be.
Please bail us out.
It's not even that. Just
Dino's and Crystal's.
Let your anticipation build for the excitement of the stories afterward. That's what I'm saying. That's the way I see it. But I want to throw a shout out to a few comics that you know what, guys. And this is like just my honest opinion. We post every day. It's a lot. It's a lot for us, I'm sure. And you know what? For people who aren't avid listeners or anything like that, they might be frustrated. I would encourage you, give it a try. You never know. But on top of that, there were a lot of...
But there's lots of stuff to scroll through on Facebook. Just scroll over it. Jesus Christ, so sorry that you had to...
Well, on top of that, a lot of comics that have been very supportive, and even some that I didn't even know were supportive, came to our defense and were like, What's your problem? Like, and you know what the best part was? And this is what I loved about it, was so many comics were like, what's your problem? And they didn't attack. They just questioned, like, why are you throwing hate around when there's no reason to hate? And that, honestly, it warmed my cold, dead heart. So I want to shout out to a few comics who have all, I'll be honest with you, I've seen them all be funny. Every one of them, I've seen them be funny. They're not always funny, but that goes for me, that goes for Chris, that goes for every comic. We got to work with it. But it's a sausage fest. I'll put it out there first. Was Rob Weber.
I am very grateful.
Absolutely. Look, Rob Weber, David Fox Sproul, Sirhat Yerdikal, Lewis Molds, Blair Brown, Robbie Hollywood, and Matt Duffy. My appreciation and undying love to you guys for your support, and it means the world to me, and I got your back too. So it was
holy cow, yes.
It was
thank you.
You know
guys.
what? And that's the thing is, I'd
share anything. Like, if you guys got something going on, I'll share it.
I told her not to share certain things, and she's like, no, fuck it, I'm sharing everything. And I'm like, okay, share.
No, because you know what? I want the community, like, I'm new to the community, but I think if I want to get into something, I want it to be awesome all around. Not just me. I want the whole thing to be awesome. And I love comedy, so I want to see it. If I can do a part to spread the word, then why not?
There's no reason why we have to be at each other's shows, and there's been a lot of that, especially.
And we should be pumping each other up. Look how big we could be if we all worked as like a team.
Well, that's the thing is, up until now, we haven't had any guests, and the whole idea behind that was that, number one, we wanted to hit our rhythm, okay, which was obviously paramount. But on top of that, it's like I prefer a face-to-face conversation rather than somewhere where somebody can say, you know what, I'm tired of this, and just turn off they don't want to talk anymore. Because the fact is,
we want you to be stranded.
I do. I want you to be. I want to have a hard conversation. I want to go through the hard topics with people. But that for me is very important to be face to face.
Oh my god, any guests that come on our show, we totally gotta like duct tape them to it.
Not that far. No, it doesn't have to be like that.
We should do it for shits and giggles.
And this is why.
Come on Morning Motivational Rant. We're gonna duct tape you to an office chair and spin you around for fun.
That might happen. That might happen.
No, look at me.
That might happen.
Every guest.
Listen, let's put it this way.
If you say something that's fucked up and Karen-like, you get a pie in the face. Welcome to Morning Motivational Rant.
Poof. No, it's, in all honesty,
poof, and we don't edit shit.
No,
so.
well, and this is my thing is, I don't want people to be frustrated or saddened. I want people to be entertained and enlightened.
Oh,
I want them to be enlightened. I want them to be entertained and enlightened. And I think that can happen. But I think that putting people on the spot, and this is the one thing that I want to say right off the bat, is that if I, in the future, have somebody on a guest and I ask them something too hard, and I'm going to do this as a caveat before every interview, is if you're not ready to talk about something or you're not comfortable talking about something, you can say that. Right? Like, that's the one thing that, I think I discussed this with you earlier on, was Victoria and I were driving. I was driving her car, and she had a face down to the floor. And I was like, honey, what's wrong? Nothing. That was her response. And she's like, I go, okay. So I asked her again, Victoria, what's wrong? Nothing. Okay. So I said, listen, I'm going to ask you a third time. Before I ask this question, I want you to be aware that you have three options. It's number one, you can tell me what's wrong, because there's obviously something wrong. Number two, you can change your fucking face, because that's bullshit. Okay? Or number three, you can fuck off, because I have no time for this shit. And her response was, well, I'm not ready to talk about it. I said, that's fine. That's a totally reasonable answer to say, hey, I'm not ready to talk about it. There are other people who have said the exact same thing. I'm like, no problem. But then I'm waiting for you to come to me. And she has, and it's great. But that's the thing is, people don't realize that you can just say, I'm not comfortable talking about that. Okay. No problem. And that's why is we have to be okay with that communication. And that's why I want people to understand that, you have to have hard conversations because it brings us to a better place. But that doesn't mean that you should be cornered and forced to say something that maybe isn't really how you feel, or maybe you haven't had the time to really put together your own thought. And that's why the idea of people, like the whole idea of like paparazzi and people getting hunted down, oh, what do you think about this? And you're like, whoa, just calm down. We can have a conversation, just relax, let's just talk, and it's fine, right? Some people are like, I'm doing it on my own. You're like, I applaud you, but you don't have to. And that's why she's back, and I love it. How's it going, Crystal?
I think I'm going to write people letters.
I like it.
Well,
I like
because
it.
then you could say what you got to say and then not have to listen, read or wait for or watch the little bubbles go across the screen. Or
It's true.
you don't have to like...
It's true.
You know, you don't have to listen to a response that might break your heart even more because
Yeah?
I have high expectations, I guess, of what
I disappoint
don't
her
know.
all the time.
You know,
it's great.
no, you don't at all. You really don't. Actually, I feel sorry for you because usually you get the butt end of my shit.
That's okay. I'm a tough guy. Bring it. Like it. You're worth it, and I think I'm worth it too. So.
That people, you are. I just think that like it's
Shucks.
easier for
Yeah.
It is good to clear the air and stuff because
God.
else if you don't, you end up building it all up and then and you end up looking like the bad guy in everybody's situation when if you would have just called a spade a spade.
I've had that
I
happen.
always want to I always take it
Yeah.
and end up the bad guy just to avoid
I know you do.
the situation.
I know you do.
Because if people are going to be like that, let them be like that. You're not going to change them. And it hurts more when they turn it around and then I sit with it. Because then I do take whatever they say as to heart and I don't just try to turn it around.
I honestly feel that
take
was
it to heart.
directly at me for a little bit.
No, it wasn't at all, actually. No, it really wasn't. It had nothing to do with you. No, no, Dino, I'm a lot more cunty when I talk about your shit. But no.
That's not true.
No, that one wasn't about you.
Listen.
Oh my god, I sound like such a woman all the time, though. In all these videos, I'm like...
Hey, listen. That
There's
just...
a whole lot. Everybody else times up their periods when they watch the show with me. Like, they're like... Oh, gotta go out and buy some Tampax. Just watch Morning Motivational Rant.
And those are just the men.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the thing. See, this is the best part. Is like, I've really come to enjoy the dynamic that we've created, and while it's had its bumps and bruises from both of us, I feel, you know what?
That's
What?
good.
Well, that's the thing is, what thing worth doing hasn't had its bump and bruise? You know what I mean? Like, and that's so many people feel that, well, if it's not easy, it's not worth doing. And you're like, that's the craziest thing in the world to think that, well, if it's not going to be easy, why should I bother? And you're like, that's not how anything works.
Fake.
Well, this is...
And you build it all up, and then eventually it explodes, or you get backed up with poop, like some people who eat too many panzerottis in one sitting.
I'm dying for a Panzerotti too, I'll be honest with you. I've been asking Victoria to get Panzerotti. She's like, maybe that's a bad idea, honey. And I'm like, okay.
I love Victoria so much.
My bowels and asshole love Victoria very much right now because...
Victoria's like our CEO. She's like our network that tells us, okay, guys, no.
So
Listen.
the funny thing is that me, Victoria, and another friend of ours, Kathy, who's overseas, she's a pilot, which obviously a woman pilot, so hot. But yeah, right. Like, this is the thing is, can you drive? Can you drive standard?
Yeah, pretty well,
So hot.
I guess, yeah.
Honestly, a chick who can
Yeah.
drive standard, so hot.
It's like-
You know what? And people are like, oh, well, it's the whole idea of hanging. No. It's that you're capable. Is very
I am
attractive.
lazy though. I don't like to.
Same
but
here,
I can.
but I can't. Look, the fact is,
Yeah.
outside of North America, everything is with a standard transmission, right? An automatic transmission
Yeah.
is few and far between. It's not. That's a very, very seldom used technology because a lot of times roads are smaller, narrower, hills, things like that. It's important to have that control. It's not the same. North America,
We're just
massive
lazy.
roads. Like, look, in all honesty, it's not just lazy, but we have the comfort of massive roads and good traffic laws, so everyone stays in their lane. That doesn't happen anywhere else, okay? So that's why I'm like, listen, I don't have a standard car. I have a friend of mine who's like adamant about driving standard cars. And I'm like,
I smoke
Okay.
too much weed to drive standard nowadays.
but that's the thing is, I'm like, yeah, but it's a good skill to have. It's about being capable.
I mean, No.
But so the three of us, such a pervert. The three of us.
I wait a long enough time before driving. I listen to some
Bullshit.
Wilson fella.
She's that person who's driving down the street.
Dino. X-nay on that illegal driving, eh?
After you say ixnay, it's supposed to be Pig Latin for nix, and then whatever you say. But when you don't say the rest in Pig Latin, it doesn't really.
I don't know what illegal driving is in Pig Latin.
Anyways, if she were to be on the road, she would be the one with the window down, with a joint just hanging out, and just be like, "Hey, what's up, bye?" And then, smoke. Anyways, but that's in the past. That's never happened. Anyways, point is this. Point is that Victoria, myself, and our friend Kathy, we have our own WhatsApp group, and the WhatsApp group is called Team Asshole, because when Kathy is in town, we always just like fucking make fun of everything and everyone. And and we're mean. We're very, very mean. And I'm not even the meanest one, but the best part is that we say Victoria is the president and CEO of Team Asshole. And she's like, "No, I'm not." And we're like, "You're the meanest." And she's like, "No, I'm not." And we're like, "Yeah, you are." And she's like, "Well, fuck you both." We're like, "Ta-da!" Yeah, but you're absolutely right. Victoria is definitely the CEO material where she's like, hey, no, too far. There's been a lot of pictures that I have not posted specifically because Victoria's like, "Listen, that's not okay." I'll tell you what. I'll tell you one of those pictures. I sent it to my nephew the other day, and I was like, "Hey, is this funny?" And he was like, "It's kind of funny, but not as funny as you think it is." And I was like, "Oh, really?" So it's a picture. I'll tell you what it is. It's a picture of Elmo in like a safari hat and like the safari shirts with binoculars on. Okay, and this is what it says. It says, "Elmo watches as his crippled victim struggles to flee. The tiger closing in gets Elmo's boner rock hard. As his victim makes a final scream, Elmo's orgasm is godlike. Elmo has a very specific fetish." I think that's fucking hilarious, okay? And Victoria's like, "You can't post that anywhere. That is really inappropriate on so many levels."
See it.
Oh, don't worry. I'll send it to you. Don't worry. It's
because I'm like, I don't really like.
Yeah, you can't picture it.
I can't picture.
Don't worry. It's on its way, and you'll regret ever having seen it. Okay. But the point is that Victoria is in charge. That's hands down. Okay?
Yeah, hands down.
There's no. She has. There's been. Yeah, no, that's true. The only thing that. So I wrote another note.
Will she write us letters?
Victoria?
Will she send us letters of misconduct in the workplace?
That's very possible. Very possible. You know what? Once I make a studio here and we start recording live, we're definitely going to get violation letters. That's for sure. You were too loud. You talked about topics that are not condoned in this household. You said things that were a little inappropriate, and I'd be like, "Yeah, that's probably true." I'm not going to list them. Don't worry.
We got to stock up on the egg cartons. Because then if we put
it's my house. You're not going to
over the ceiling.
Oh.
You put them on the ceiling and on the walls, and it will soundproof.
I thought you meant to egg Victoria's house, and I'm like, "No, that's my house, asshole." You told me egg my own house.
No, can't egg your house, Jesus. Maybe the neighbors or something, but like not yours.
No, we're not egging anyone's house.
It's a lot of work to clean that shit.
It really is, especially if it's very cold or very hot. Those extreme temperatures, so bad because it cakes on and it's fucked.
Who's the comedian that made that comic? Where did they live?
What?
We're totally egging that comedian's house. No. Let's do it. How do you like your eggs, sir? Fried, mashed, or wait, not mashed. Scrambled or dippy?
Can you imagine mashed potatoing somebody's house? I think that would be great.
That'd be better.
Yeah.
Dino.
I would trowel.
Potatoes are cheaper.
I would trowel that shit onto their windows. I would trowel it on so it looks like cement. I would paint it afterward so it just looks like brick. Yeah, I would do that. I would mash potato somebody's house. I'm that kind of an asshole. I would take the time to mash thousands of potatoes to in turn mash potatoes somebody's house. I would mash potato their garage so when they try and open it, it just falls apart.
Nope. No, we wanted because we're going to do it. So no, we're not.
So.
That, Dino. We're totally doing
If you get your house mashed potatoed, you'll know who did it. It was Crystal. So one of the things that came up over the last couple of days, there's two more things I want to talk about. Number one was how storytelling. I'm trying to get better at storytelling. I'm okay at storytelling. Like I'm like 50% there. Like it's sometimes funny but too wordy. That's my issue, right? But then I gave the example to Victoria. I'm like, you know how you tell the story of Jesus? She goes, how? I'm like, there was a guy, he went on a tree, got stuck, and he died. That's how you tell the story of Jesus. And she was like, sounds accurate. I'm like, you're a dick. And I'm like, see, I'm not that bad for stories, but the other...
Okay.
What?
When you say storytelling, though, I have a question.
Hit me.
Because when people say this, and I hate asking because I feel bad, but is there a difference between storytelling like once upon a time and like about somebody else's story, or storytelling like your own story? Like, is there a way to do it
absolutely.
that's similar or
so
different?
Think about it this way. It depends on what you're trying to convey, right? So in my way of telling stories are to pass on knowledge and to make people laugh. That's what I value the most in a story. I want someone to become enlightened with information, but also to laugh along the way because I find it more memorable. On the other side is things like an autobiography, where you're trying to tell somebody your own story. That's when it's not about the funny, it's about conveying the emotions. It's a different type of writing. That one, I'm easy with that. That's because I can convey emotion where people feel what I'm trying to convey, but it's not funny, and sometimes it gets sad, and I try not to make people sad because this is the reason I don't like making people sad.
I think you just gave me like a self-revelation. Revelation. I just think you gave me a self-discovery moment. Okay, so.
Yes, it's that big and enjoyable.
Because everybody wants to know, like, because I've been reading up on writing and how you should present something and how like something should be, and I think that's my biggest problem in life is that people want to know, well, what's your reasoning for saying that, or why do you feel that way, or what was your reasoning behind that action? What do you want to convey? What is your message supposed to be? What is like expecting you to have an explanation for a thought or for a feeling or to justify a question that they have of your personal feeling, of your personal thought. And I think that's my hardest problem is that I don't have a game going in, and I don't have a pre-expectation.
Okay.
I don't think, because I don't do things and expect, like I don't feel towards somebody to expect to feel love back. I don't get angry towards somebody waiting for anger back. I don't, or to like something or an explanation for why you're saying that. I don't look for an explanation for somebody. Like I don't get it. I think that's my thing. I think that kind of like makes me realize a lot.
So think about it this way.
People want an explanation for how you feel and how you think, and
the thing is that
I can't give it.
Yeah, no. That's definitely not the case. You definitely can't. The point is that you have to understand. So I gave my first public discourse when I was 12. Okay? I spoke...
What is that, public discourse?
It means talking in front of a crowd on a certain subject.
Oh, can't you say like a speech?
A talk. It would be a talk. So like a TED Talk?
Okay.
A TED Talk would be that, okay? It was 5 minutes long, and it was horrible. I'll tell you that right now. It was horrible. I was 12. But at the same time, I also did another one, probably that same year, in front of 1,000 people, and it was awesome. Okay? So and this is the biggest problem that I've had in the past in regards to the way I write, is I write in speak. So if you read what I write out loud, it sounds great. When you read it internally as writing, you're like, this guy might be retarded. That's the problem. So, but you have to understand is that one of the things that growing up, one of the things that I was trained for was to speak publicly. So I have years, and remember, we're talking about the first time I publicly spoke was 1992. Okay? That's almost 30 years ago. And I've been speaking publicly that whole time. This whole time I've been having talks, and whether that's in front of a group of 5 people or 1,000, no difference for me. I've been like that's why and that's why what you're saying is you're just untrained.
I have been too, but in a different kind of crowds, I guess.
Well,
but I've always but ever since I was a kid, though, I did the Remembrance Day. I read a big speech in Ottawa, in elementary school, and I've done I've never had stage fright. I've done plays in elementary school,
which is the harder thing to get over. So be very you can learn to be a great speaker. It's just a process, right?
Yeah.
Because it's very self-reflective, because someone says, "Listen, you talk too fast." And you're like, "I don't talk too fast." Well, now you failed, right? Whereas you go, "How?" You say, "Okay, well, you're talking fast here, but you slow down here when it should be the other way around." And then you're going, "Oh," because it's not criticism. It's a critique to help you understand why you're not getting the reception you expected. That's why it's a very big dialogue. There are books about it. There's all sorts of things that are very beneficial on that idea. But that's the whole thing, is that it depends on your audience. Why are you laughing at me?
I'm not laughing at you. It's just humankind in general. No, it's just because there's books to tell you how to talk to people, how to talk to other human beings, how to communicate so that way they understand you on your level. It's just people are so unnatural. People are so we need such lesson.
Correct.
But the lesson that we feel that we need is somebody should be no guns, people. No weapons. Whoever had the first bomb, where was their mom to be you are not allowed to play with that gun. You put that gun down, mister.
We all know.
Go away.
That the perfect way to get a man to do something is tell him, "Hey, don't do that." And he's like, "I'm definitely doing it now," right? So he said, "Hey,
no, but
at least
somebody needs a mother to go in and go to all these countries and be like, fuck you, no more war. You guys are not allowed to spend your money on junk. No buying those fancy shoes. Why are you buying those fancy shoes when you don't have a garden in your backyard? How dare you? How responsible are you being with your money? Where are your chickens?"
I really feel if Crystal was in charge, there would be a lot more tree-hugging hippies. And the funny thing is, she's not really a tree-hugging hippie. She just enjoys nature. But it's very... See, this is the thing. So watch this. Look what happened.
Our economy would come back.
Well, look what happened.
I've been trying to work out the budget for the Ontario school system.
Oh, what are you, fucking crazy?
And... Oh my God.
That's a nightmare.
They're they just gave us $500 million. The
Everyone
budget
gets a
from
raise.
2018 it's retarded. From the budget, okay, mind you, there are just over 2 million children in the Ontario public school system, okay? They gave them a budget of $50 million since this COVID thing.
Yeah,
50
extra.
Or 500, what was it, 50 million or 500 million? It was a lot of fucking money.
It was 500.
Anyways, meanwhile...
I believe.
And their budget, $500 million for 2 million kids, okay? Yeah. This is just a COVID bonus. Their budget from 2018 to 2019 was $24.6 billion.
So...
And they're crying poor and stuff. I'm sorry, I'm trying to work out the budget, exactly how big. I'm figuring out the square footage of schools, how much, everything. Every aspect I've worked out how much every employee is supposed to be paid.
Hold on.
Blah, blah.
Slow down.
They're ripping us off.
Slow down. No. Let's be very clear, okay? Now,
what do you need a $24 billion budget for 2 million children for 1 year?
God damn it. You know what? I really wish when I say, hold on, you'd say, okay. That's what I want. That's my response, okay?
Because you just never make me finish what I'm saying, and you always try to make it look stupid.
You're sounding...
I don't know what I'm talking about.
No, the difference is... Okay, but this is... In actuality, this is perfect. Because what you did was... The way you delivered the information that you said, it was immediately aggressive. It was attacking, and it didn't convey... what it conveyed was your frustration. It didn't convey the alarming situation. Does that make sense?
Yes, Dino.
Okay.
It makes very good sense.
Okay.
I did not use my proper approach to these.
Hold on. No. I'm saying
order to be
you
taken seriously.
most often don't, and you get and you're like, whoa. This is the thing is when you say, okay, watch this. If a raccoon,
I'll sit up straighter. I'm sorry.
see, this is the bullshit. This is the bullshit. Okay, this is not. See, this is why you're not.
I'm just correcting my posture for you.
No, you're attacking me.
I have to be direct.
No.
No, I'm not.
You're attacking me.
Direct, and I'm being
You're attacking
a conservative adult human
Nope.
being who has respect for my manners.
No. Again, see, this is the problem. Is you've attacked me saying that I'm trying to put you down. You are. This is the look. You okay, hold on. No, listen to me. Just listen. Listen.
I always do.
Okay.
Why do you think I try to fix myself? Why do you think I even bothered looking this shit up in the first place? So that way I can keep up with you, because I'm a degenerate and you guys are the responsible ones and have it figured out, right?
It's not true. That's not true at all. This is.
Well, go tell me how wrong I am.
You're not. That's the point of it. What I'm telling you is, do you hear what I said at the beginning of this a critique on what you say is to make you better. I'm not saying you're wrong. The information you said is completely accurate. But the problem is what you conveyed to me was your anger and frustration. The way you delivered it, I didn't hear the information. Like I did, but people don't. Does that make sense? And just to be very clear, guys, I can't move this camera just because there are wires and stuff, but I'm going to move this camera to show her something, okay? Can you see what it says on my notepad where it says education versus teachers? Can you see that?
No.
Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, so you brought up a great point. And Crystal, I'm so glad you brought it up because you're absolutely right. There's some serious discrepancies in that information. And I'm so happy that you've done some research because it really means a lot, because I have a hard time remembering certain numbers and things like that. Okay? So this is fantastic, okay? But let's try and let's hit it on both sides of the coin. Is that fair? Is that a reasonable thing? Can we talk?
Yeah.
I love it.
Very reasonable.
Isn't it great when a plan comes together?
So reasonable.
Fucking cock sucker. I swear to Christ, sometimes. So listen. What I understood from what you said was this. That the political administration has attempted to throw money at the difficulties that teachers are having for students during this time, okay? Now, what they have done is decided that they were going to add more money to a already overinflated budget. Now, is that saying that teachers don't deserve their pay? That's not what I'm saying. It's not what I'm saying at all. My issue, hold on, just wait for 1 second. What I'm saying.
Oh, I'm not speaking.
No, no. I saw you. You're like, you're ready to attack me.
No.
Okay.
No.
Such a liar. This is the thing.
That's not good presentation. That's not a good approach to get your message heard. I'm just saying the facts. Why does it sound so bad? That's exactly what you basically are telling me. So.
Do you see what I mean?
What?
Do you see what I mean, though?
I don't know.
We're on the same side. We're on the same side.
Okay.
You're the one who asked me. Maybe.
I just went about it wrong, I guess.
Ooh.
I don't know what to say. What am I saying?
You're you take so much time to learn stuff. I want you to be heard. That's what I'm telling you. I want you to be heard. Yeah. And that doesn't mean that you need to pussyfoot about things, women. Let's be very clear, okay? What I'm telling you, because you are an assertive woman, and this is a good thing. And it's harder to turn someone who's not assertive to be assertive, right? You have all those skills, and you're a great speaker. I've seen you speak. It's fantastic. I feel like I'm trying to dig up.
Anyways, go on and finish your thing. I don't know what you're trying to do. I don't know why you think that. Like, just go. See what you're saying. It's wonderful. People are getting it.
So, the point is this, that the help that we've received from unions, including the teachers union in the past, to give workers a fairer environment to work in. Reasons that they stopped child labor was because of unions. There's a lot of things that have benefited us. Now, when a union makes political stands, we have a problem. And across North America, this is a fact. Okay? So, and you have a difference is that teachers just recite information they're told. An educator digs, finds, cuts it up into pieces to serve to those so they can be more palatable. Two different things. An educator versus a teacher. Now we have a situation where bureaucracy has manipulated things, and we said this a little while ago. I feel like I'm going to get the beating of my life after this.
No, I don't. I'm not.
Yes,
I'm not out here to attack you, Dino. Like, you say what you have to say, and I respect that. I'm not going to attack whatever you say with something. Like, I'm just trying to. What is that face for now?
Because I'm sad. Because I
can't say anything
I feel like you're sad,
today.
and it makes me sad that you're sad.
No, I'm not at all. Like, I get it. And I'm listening.
Make me so
I'm
mad.
being educated.
You're not
Oh,
you already know.
No. Like, I don't, though. That's the thing. I really don't know.
Okay, so we discussed this the other day, was the idea that at this point in time, and the technology we have available to us readily, there is no reason why a student shouldn't be able to say, you know what, guys, I'm not feeling well, I'm going to do the rest of my classes at home and do them online, okay? And we're finding that so with this year, I'm not sure if I have this 100% correct, so I apologize if I'm wrong, but you could opt in to attending school, or you could opt out and do everything online. But if you opted in to going to school, you could change and do things online. But you couldn't say, I want to be online, and then opt in to going to school. So they wasn't interchangeable. But you've seen there are tens of thousands of students who have now decided that they signed up for online, knowing that they could back out of it, and they have actively backed out and said, no, I'll do everything online, thanks. Because they always have the option that they can go back to school. And now I know the Toronto District School Board has been like, oh, well, so many people want to go online, we don't know what to do. And I'm going, what do you mean you don't know what to do? If anything, the teachers of the school board and the administration of the teachers are all educators. That's what they're supposed to be. So if they're educating us, then they should be able to be on the front of helping us, right? They should be on the front of science, because they, realistically, and I don't mean to lump everybody in.
I don't even have a cat. Like, I don't know where I get these random.
Just so everyone listening knows, I'm getting some very telling expressions from Crystal, and one of them was she reached into her mouth, pulled her tongue out, and grabbed a hair off it, and she's like, I don't even own a cat. And
No, it's just not the first time that I've done that, like in the past week. And I'm like, where are these little hairs coming from? And it must be one of the blankets that I've been using or something, because I'm like,
okay.
It's definitely not pubic. But anyways.
So, the point is, see, this is what I mean, where I'm only half effective, is because it becomes too preachy instead of being entertaining, okay? Do you see how we can counterbalance each other? I need your help.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, here, now, so I said all this stuff. Crystal, what do you think? Tell me.
I don't know.
Bullshit, you fucking liar. You're such a liar. No, stop it. Come on. Come on.
No, because I don't know the extent of it, so I can't put my comments in, like, if I don't know what I'm talking about. I'd rather not. know, like, numbers-wise, if I think about it, like, and I don't know the backs behind everything, so numbers just don't add up to me. I mean, there's 4,000 schools. I think with the amount of money that our Board of Education gets, I don't know how how not every single child in Ontario is not fucking has his own spaceship, like, center, and, you know, with that kind of money, I know what kind of, like, in real life, money, like, that's a lot of fucking money, and that can buy a lot of shit in real life, so I don't know where this budget goes to. Like, so I'm just trying to break it down how much the cost is actually there. I mean, there's 4,000 elementary schools from grades, kindergarten, junior kindergarten, senior kindergarten, or junior kindergarten to grade 8, and that includes senior kindergarten. So you're looking at, like, 9 classes, because 9 classes, rooms, right? If you want to, and at it was just over 2 million kids. I think the number was something like it would be 352 kids per school, if you broke it down for the areas and stuff like that, right? So but if we want to do the classrooms, you would need 18 classrooms basically to have 20 kids, because for each grade you should probably do 2 classrooms for social, because that's 20 kids, right? And each kids social distancing, if you were to do it 6 foot by 6 foot, that's 12 feet altogether that a child would need in their workspace. So that would be with the teacher's desk, with the walking space and everything, you're looking at about 56 feet per classroom. So, and for gymnasiums and stuff, for everybody to have their 6 foot, you know, separation, basically 12 foot a person, because if you figure box, right? So 12 feet a person, then 12 feet a person, it works out. I'm just trying to think of the numbers for the space that you need, hydro, plumbing, everything, to be realistic about these numbers, people. Like, we have to be realistic. If there's this many schools, so there's 52 cities, there's, you know, how many in the province of Ontario, 11 villages, 52 cities, and towns, there was like 30 something or whatever towns, and it's just, if we figure out the math, where's all this budget going to? That's what I want to know. Like, because we're under an economic shit right now. True. So we need to figure out what's going on. Like, and the people need to do that, because we're the ones that are paying for the tax. We're the ones that are, so don't we need to figure out our own budget? Where's our bank books? Like, fuck you, like, you know what I mean? Like, we can tell what grades, what kind of stuff, what kind of resources they need in these grades. So, like, because we don't even send our kids have to have now glue sticks, scissors, fucking everything for class. Remember back in the day, they used to give you a ruler, eraser, notebooks, like they give you those little notebooks. That's all gone. But yet they have a $24.6 billion budget in just Ontario. No. Just Ontario with 2 million kids.
It's much worse.
That's a lot of fucking money.
It's much worse.
And that's for 1 year.
It's much worse.
That's a 1 year's
it's
budget.
Much worse than that. Watch this.
It's just...
Hey, budget is this is just the Toronto District School Board. I literally just Googled this. Was that the Toronto District School Board budget is $3.4 billion. Okay? The amount of students in the Toronto District School Board, okay, so this is just Toronto, okay, is 247,000 students. That means that every student, okay, is costing $13,765.18. Okay, so now, that being said, on your point, exactly that is, I remember when I went to college, it was about $3,000 per semester. It was around there. It was around $3,000 per semester, okay? Now, that was college. And it was Sheridan College in Brampton. It wasn't that fancy or anything. I went for finance, not a big deal. But the fact is that with those numbers and what you said is exactly that. Are we funneling cash into an administration, or are we spending money on educating our youth? Right? It's a fair question.
We could have very nice schools for everybody.
Well,
why can't
we have?
I keep saying
why can't we have well-paid teachers and educators? I don't understand.
in my eyes, or in anybody
Yeah.
looking, there is no leader if you have somebody living on your streets. Your leader is shit. For every man that's like, oh, you know, I'm sorry, but if you have if you have an extra $20 and your community's going to shit and you're like in charge, even if you have an extra 20, I'd be buying garbage bags and trying to pick up the garbage in my neighborhood if I was like in charge of that neighborhood. If you're in charge of your workplace, like you own your own business.
Yep.
So the country is your business. Do you want somebody coming in and doing a inspection of your retail location and then you have garbage lying in the fucking corner? Or you have to pick that shit up. Even if it was, you know, like you have to clean it up. If this is all Walmart, let's say we're the CEOs of Walmart and the country of Canada is Walmart. Are we gonna I know, right? Are we gonna let are we gonna have a part of our store be all fucked up with people living in it and doing drugs and stuff? No.
Well,
they're gonna clean it up and they're gonna, you know, up their regulations and they're gonna make it great. They're gonna educate their employees. They send their employees to, you know, to get. So why don't you do that with with our country and the world for that? Because no man is rich in your country if you're not. If you are, there's no such thing as rich as long as there's somebody sleeping on the street. As far as I'm concerned, like it's like your family. If there's somebody in your family struggling, your whole family's struggling. Nobody's doing good because one person is. The rest of them are ignorant towards like, you know, and it's not. You're a whole. It's a unity. If you're in a relationship and when somebody's failing your relation, like it's just the way it is. Like as a whole, you're a whole.
Well, okay. Let's be honest, okay? And this is not. And we've been attacking the education budget, which and this is
budgets in general.
And this is what I want to say,
because I just started off with education because it was easier for me to break that down.
I'm gonna make it really shitty.
Like,
watch this, okay? So, and you know what? I'll be honest with you guys. I have friends who are educators and teachers, and right off the bat, I have a love-hate relationship with teachers and the education system. I'll be honest with you right there. It has a lot of. It is. Fundamentally important to have an education system. That's right off the bat. It is fundamentally important to our country, survival, ongoing success of mankind, of humankind. Period.
100%.
Okay? What I disagree with is the bureaucracy and bullshit that goes along with it, and that's when I think people need to start getting punched in the face. Now, to go one further, and this is where you want to understand how severe, this is going to be a very long clip, but I love the shit out of it. I'm totally cutting out the part where you got mad at me, and then after that, we're going to start fresh. It's going to be great. But this is the thing. Now, what I just Googled as well was, now you and I, if we work for our whole lives and put money into CPP, we're going to get around $600 a month from CPP. It's pretty fucking sweet, right? And it only took our entire goddamn fucking lives. How awesome is that? Now, let's go one further. That, usually, our working careers are how long? 40 years? 45 years? Some of us, like Crystal, who was working at the age of 8, it's going to be longer, okay? She was flipping pizzas. We covered this. She was flipping pizzas. It was very intense work.
I've done that too.
So, however, and I don't want to say corruption. Let's not call it corruption. Let's call it the misuse of our taxpayer resources goes right to the top. And I'll tell you why. The retirement age of a member of parliament, okay, is as early as 55 years old, okay? Fine. However, they qualify when they have 6 years of service. 6 years. Okay? I'll tell you right now, that pension, it's not light. It's a good pension. So tell me exactly how it is that this is serving our country. And you know what? I hate to be political and everything, but let's be very clear. We're not talking politics. We're talking the essentially the fact that our entire system is such painful bureaucracy that we have gone off the deep end in what we're doing. And I apologize to educators. I don't apologize to teachers because teachers are not the same. Okay.
I just wish that you guys were passionate about it, you know?
That's why.
In fight for, you guys see this budget, you see all this, if you have this money to put towards making children amazing, make children amazing. If you're a teacher, I'd be spending my money. This is why I was I'm a terrible babysitter though, because everything I made, I put into making it better for the kids, because you want them to be better. Everything that you make, you put in towards your business. It's business.
I'd have those kids walk around in potato sacks and tell them to fuck off. Here's a twig to play with, okay? That's the difference. Now,
but I don't get it. Like, if these people want to say that they're businessmen and that they're, it's all about money, it's all about business, why don't you make more money than you stupid fuck? Like, if you're good at business, be good at business.
If that's the case,
put your money into your business.
Well, make enough.
You have a shitty retail store.
Even worse. Look, if it's about business, it's about money, good. Make so much money that you can throw it away to everyone around you and still be wealthy. How about that? Throw it around.
Throw it away. Put it. It's not.
You want to be wealthy?
Have zero
Bring
money.
it.
It's what you do with it. Wealth comes from what you do with that money. Because money means
Coke
shit
and
at the end of the day.
hookers.
What are you gonna do? What do you think? Rock, paper, scissors. Really, rock holds down the paper. So rock, paper, scissors, paper always loses.
Well, and that's the question:
so
is realistically,
money loses.
And that's the thing is, you have
realistically.
I have personal friends who are in the nursing community or part of it, and they have the same issues where you have people who are there because it's a good job, also in teaching, and those are people who, they're a nurse, but then you have somebody who's a healthcare professional, or someone who's an educator, where it's someone who's actually gives a shit. Have you ever seen, and I'm sure you've experienced this before, not often.
I'd be bringing crayons for all the kids, like Milk. You have an extra $100, use it towards your kids.
Hold on.
This
is the thing: is have you ever seen a teacher who's gotten excited about a subject? It's intoxicating. I'll be honest. It's intoxicating though. And I was lucky. I had a teacher.
My favorite teachers.
Absolutely, I had a teacher in night school. I had to drop the class because I was too overstretched. But it was algebra geometry, which is became one of my favorite subjects because this guy, it was at Turner Fenton Night School. Probably it would have been around 1999, and he was a math teacher, and his passion for mathematics was intoxicating. And I'll tell you right now, that's someone who I would call, that's an educator. Not a teacher. A teacher is someone who reiterates information. That is not the same thing. And that's the problem, is we have a gross amount of people. Remember, this goes down to the idea that we all have to have jobs. Everybody has to have a job. No, that's not true. It's definitely not true. And this is where our entire system is backfiring on itself. That's why I think we're going to cover more of this tomorrow because it's a great subject, and the idea of it's not about people being corrupt.
Shout out to Mr. Knight in Estelle Secondary School in Barrie, Ontario, and he was a history teacher, and he was very passionate about it, and it was awesome.
Hey.
And Mr. Unit from an Estelle Secondary School, he was a law teacher, and he was very passionate, and he was a real estate agent and a small entrepreneur. Awesome man.
Yeah, and that's
he taught you. He was very eager to teach.
And that's a shout out, in all honesty, teachers who are passionate about teaching and or educators who are passionate about conveying knowledge to students. Please
Thank you.
keep going. I know it's hard. I know the bureaucracy and everything drives them crazy the most. And I'll tell you right now, we as students, because I'm still a student right now, okay? We as students would die without you. Just flat out, okay? Crystal, we are out of time. So
motivate people, Dino.
I have a very, very perplexing motivation today. It's something that, I'll be honest with you guys, it's not off the cuff. Well, it's...
You done messed up. Shirt says you done messed up.
No, my shirt says you done messed up, AA Ron.
I just noticed.
It's from, it's from Key and Peele. It's one of my favorite skits.
Oh, sorry, I just noticed it now because he leaned back and I'm like, you done messed up.
You done messed up, AA Ron. The best part is it's about education. That worked out quite well. So, Morning Motivational Rant, guys. So, this is a topic that I've had in my head for the last couple of days. I don't have anything prepared, per se, but it's been floating around. I sent Crystal a link to this the other day, and I thought I would use it. I was going to say, let's discuss it, but instead I said, no, let's Morning Motivation. It's a German movie that it is about 12 minutes long. It's 12 minutes long. And it's called 8:27. It's 8 minutes, 27 seconds. And what it is, is it's a movie where the news does a broadcast saying that the sun has gone out. And the time it takes for light to go from the sun to the earth is 8 minutes and 27 seconds. Okay, that's how long it takes. And essentially it's a look at how people deal with if you were told you have, because if the sun goes out, the planet freezes. And Victoria was like, oh, well, if you're close to fire. I'm like, no, you don't understand. If the sun goes out, we're dead. We will instantly freeze to death. It's extremely horrible, right? The only reason that we can survive right now is because of our electromagnetic field, and there's a ton of different factors into it. But the fact is, if the sun goes out, we're fucked. So if you had 8 minutes and 27 seconds to live, what would you do? And it's funny because there's romance, there's shock, there's principle, there's straight up murder. And it was interesting because Victoria was like, well, what would you do? I said, if I was at work, I'd start murdering people. Just hands down, I would start throwing people out the window. No problem. Like, not even, I wouldn't even hesitate. And she goes, well, what if you're at home? I'm like, I'd probably hold you. And she was like, aw. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think I was trying to be romantic. It was more so I was trying to get some play before I die. That's more so what it was. But, you know, it was romantic. And I was just like, yeah. And then I asked her, what would you? She's like, I don't know. And I'm like, yeah, because she's not romantic. Just to be very clear. So, but this thing is, it kind of, it's something to really think about, is that at any point in time, realistically, right, walking out the front door is dangerous. Staying inside your house is dangerous. There's so much danger we don't really realize is happening around us, yet we carry on. Like, there's a huge movement of people who are like, master, it's a mind control thing. And you're like, okay, let's say it's a mind control thing. Your point? Like, and that's the thing, is people are all fighting. It's like, listen, if you had 8 minutes, 27 seconds to live, what would you do? And I found it it's been on my mind constantly, because I think about it. I said, like, what would be the most important thing? What would matter the most? And that's why it's like every day is so filled with chance, but we want to do our best to kind of grab life by the horns and kind of direct it the way we want. And we strive so much to have control over achieving and doing this. And today was a perfect example where I said, well, no, you have to talk like this. And that's not really fair to Crystal, because she has her own way. And it's unreasonable for me to impose my way on her, right? But that's the thing, is when we have a back and forth, it can work out. And it was kind of weird to think, is like, we have so much control and also no control at the same time, that it makes you kind of wonder, what would I do if I had 8 minutes and 27 seconds left to live, you know? And I really thought that how important it was that, because we had, it was actually one of the people that I thanked earlier, Blair Brown, he was the one who posted, was like, hey, if you were going to die in 3 months, what would you do? And why can't you do it now anyway? And you're kind of going, that's a good point, right? And that's the thing, is like, every day we have these challenges and stuff, but, you know, we try so hard that it makes you wonder, what's our goal? You know, how are we trying to move forward? How are we better off today than we were yesterday? And like, sometimes that's just being able to keep our sanity more. I think that's a win. You know, sometimes it's handling a conversation well. Sometimes it's, you know, getting your point across. There's so many valid uses of that time that I encourage everyone to just think about it. Say, how would you act if you only had that 8.5 minutes left? You know, what would it mean to you, and how would you go forward? But, you know, I feel like it's something very telling, and there's no right answer to it. But I don't know. It's something that I really think is worth thinking about. I think that's all I have to say. Crystal, where can everyone find you?
As simply me on YouTube, Crystal Morency on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and Dino, Laura Dino.
Guys, Dino the Genetic Marvel. I am available on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook. I have a fan page, on Twitter as well. Morning Motivational Rant, guys. We are all over the place. We are on YouTube. We are on Instagram. I post every day. We have a Facebook fan page where we load some clips. Then as well, we have the audio cast is on Anchor, Breaker, Google Podcasts, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. And as well, I just started posting it to Reddit as well, just to see if we can get some traction there, just so we can try. But like, share, and subscribe. We're here every day, 7 days a week, killing it like awesome people. So it was nice to see you guys, and have a great day and stay motivated. Bye!
Bye, guys.